Well, thank you for that very kind introduction, and I'd like to thank the Society for inviting me to give this talk today. The challenge for me when I put this together was, how do I make it apropos to this entire audience between primarily hepatobiliary surgeons and transplanters? And so I geared it one way, and then when I got here 2 days ago, one of my colleagues said, well, you have to put this in too. So it's kind of morphed into not stream of thought, but it's structured to the understanding of the clinical problem, and then touching on some advances from clinical publications, and then what we're focused on in the lab specifically as potential both that would apply to liver resection as well as liver transplant, and then how we've taken the lab back for our experience over the last 10 years using higher fatty livers in transplantation. In terms of disclosures, I am the Chief Scientific Officer for Bridge to Life, which is a startup company in South Carolina looking at a additive to preservative to UW solution to enhance ATP concentration in those livers, but I'm not going to touch on that science in this talk. The problem that creates hepatic steatosis is far greater than that. It's obesity. Clearly, 35% of the population meets the WHO's definition of obesity, and currently it's estimated that at least 65% of the population is overweight. And over the last 10 years, we've clearly seen a 50% rise in our girth in our waistline. Science recognized this on a scientific level, where adipose tissue made the cover shot of science. If we look at truly fatty acid metabolism, it goes both ways, both to storage and for metabolism. And I'm not going to go through all the points, but in your left-hand corner there is where the final common denominator is. When we're in substrate excess, we end up with the deposit of lipid droplets all over us, including in the liver. How does the adipocyte far away from the liver have an impact on the liver, and how does the hepatocyte respond? This, from Nature Reviews, just demonstrates the normal fat cells with normal vascular supply and CD4 cells, then with obesity and mild metabolic dysfunction, we see other types of T cells infiltrating the fat tissue. We have some anti-inflammatory components as well as pro-inflammatory signal. When that becomes truly in excess in a continuum being there continuously, we see marked disruption of the adipocytes. They're not just getting fatter, but other cells are infiltrating, the vascular supply is changing, and ultimately you have from the fat stores in our body outpouring of certain pro-inflammatory cytokines. Remember this slide in the context of